welcome to this edition of Steelers Weekly. Tonight you'll see some of the best content from Steelers.com that aired throughout the week. Let's get started. Dave, does it feel like you, Pounce, Ramon, and Cam are A, the old guys among this group in terms of experience, and B, does that make you feel like you have to do anything extra knowing where the team stands right now?
You know, it happens all so fast. Everyone talks about football going by fast. When you're young, you can't really see it, but when you get to that point where you're kind of a veteran guy in the locker room, you're just kind of like look around, you're like, yeah, there's not many guys older than me, you know, that played this long. But at the end of the day, I think everyone kind of fills the roles independently. Everyone has a different style of how they lead. Some are more outspoken, some are louder, some lead by action, and just being out there is enough in their presence and their play. So I think there's different roles, and not one's better than the other, and everyone's just different.
What do you feel like yours is then?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really talk too much. I don't really say too much. I just kind of like being out there and giving
actions.
good actions more than words.
How do you, I know there's 2 games left in the regular season, but how do you kind of put into words what this season has been like?
It's been a roller coaster, you know, a lot of them usually are. They're long, a lot of emotions that go into it, you know, a lot of ups and downs. Just the way they started with the injuries and the losses, it's tough, you know, but, you know, when the older you get, the more kind of seasons you've been through, and you kind of know how to deal with the ups and downs, and you kind of just try to keep every week the same. And I think we've done a good job this year with this team and just come back to work and not really looking at wins or losses and just trying to win every week and not look forward or backwards and put ourselves in a pretty good position, all things considered.
You mentioned the injuries. Coach Tillman always preaches the next man up, but what is it like for an offensive line when you're switching quarterbacks so often in one season? Yeah,
it's just the little things that people don't understand. You know, when you have a guy like Ben you've been around with and you're comfortable with, like little stuff like the cadence and little intricacies and just knowing where he's going to be in the pocket and little stuff like that. But I think guys have come in and done a good job, the best they can, and you know, we made it work.
I remember after Duck's first start in LA, you were talking about the complementary football and how it felt good to kind of put that all together, and that's also something Coach Tillman preaches. How do you guys get back to that point where everybody, every phase of the team feels like they are contributing and hopefully getting a win out of it?
I think everyone's just looking at what they need to do in their role and not trying to do too much. That's the biggest thing with next guy up, you know, not trying to do too much and just knowing that, yeah, we have a good team. We have a great defense. You know, we don't need to do that much. We just need to be efficient. We need to score points when we're in the red zone. We have those opportunities and not turn the ball over. Those are keys. Facing
a Greg Williams defense this week in the New York Jets. Good at stopping the run and also taking advantage of young quarterbacks. So how tough of a task is this for the offense?
Yeah, he always brings some intricate, kind of odd blitzes. That's what he's known for. And he's a really good coach. He coaches guys always seem to play really hard for him. Have a lot of respect for the way he gets his guys ready to play. And like you said, they stop the run first. They take pride in it, so we're going to have to be able to pass it, that's for sure.
When Coach Tillman was mentioning them being able to stop the run, he mentioned Steve McClendon, somebody you know. Yep. What are you seeing on tape from a former Steeler?
Yeah, he's a great player, tremendous player. He was great when I played him here. When I was a young guy coming in, he was one of those guys you just look at, you're like, okay, that's what an NFL player is supposed to look like. You know, really big, really savvy kind of veteran guy, and he's showing on the field still. Great at stopping the run, penetrating, getting upfield, and Coach Tillman talked about him on the team meeting today, so obviously he's a presence.
It's not uncommon for you to go against a former teammate who's on a different team, but when it is Le'Veon Bell and Kelvin Beachum, 2 guys that you spent a lot of time with, is it any different?
No, I mean, those guys, we had some great memories. You know, we always cherish those memories of those guys. We had some good years and a lot of fun, so, you know, hopefully get a chance to say hi to them after the game.
Congratulations, by the way, on the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to take you through all of your teammates who made it, and I want you to give me a one-liner on them. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Cam Heyward.
Leader.
TJ Watt.
Energetic.
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
He's like a soldier.
Yeah? What do you mean by that?
Just kind of like no emotions, just kind of, you know, I remember seeing something. It was he was in the training room and we were watching one of his clips on, I don't pick one of his 10 great plays he's had this year, and he just didn't want to look at it. You know, he was like I don't want to see that. Just all focus, all football. You know what I mean? And just no nonsense. And it says a lot about a young guy like that to have that attitude.
Okay, Marquise Pouncey.
He's a lead dog. He really is. He's always guys who brings everybody up. He's a tremendous leader.
Dave DeCastro.
Me? I got to say myself? I can pass.
Yeah, you can pass.
All right.
the significant factor here is the Jets have a very good run defense. I think they're number 2 overall in that, and they're number 1 in yards per carry against. Steelers aren't going to run for very many yards on Sunday.
Here was this week's edition of Agree to Disagree. Welcome inside the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. We are getting into the holiday spirit on Agree to Disagree, the show with the motto.
Now I have a machine gun.
He's Scrooge.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
So's Bad Santa.
We are just going to jump right into statement number 1. The run defense lost the Bills game. Pursuta, you're up first.
Yes, it did. I've heard a lot of noise in the wake of that 17-10 loss to the Bills, about 4 interceptions. Gee, do you think that's not advisable? Yeah, but 2 of them, one was desperation at the end of the game, and one was mostly like a punt in the first half. That didn't kill them. I've heard a lot of noise about the run-pass ratio. That didn't kill them either. What killed the Steelers was the Bills running for 130 yards on the ground. Even though the average per carry wasn't unseemly, the Bills were able to dictate up front. They were able to keep themselves out of those situations that the Steelers defense can thrive upon. That, to me, is what's got to change more than anything else going into this game against the Jets. They got to get the Jets into second and third, and we know you're going to pass, and we are coming after you, and we are going to force you into mistakes, and we're going to win the game that way. Disappointment on a lot of levels against Buffalo, but the Bills' ability to run surprised me the most, and it hurt the most.
All right, Labs.
I feel overwhelmed by the Christmas spirit. Tiny Tim, are you here? I'm going to agree with him. Let me just
God bless us, everyone.
Let me just adjust some things. In my mind, the inability of the Steelers defense to stop the Buffalo running attack was at the root of some of the other problems that Mike pointed out. The run-pass ratio, I think you can trace that back to the Steelers defense's inability to stuff the Bills running attack. The turnovers, if the Steelers stopped the Bills running attack, that would trickle down and allow the offense to do some things, maybe be in a little bit more control of the game and have more time to get in control of the game than they would have had with Buffalo controlling the clock and running the ball pretty much at will. Whenever they really needed to run the ball, they were able to do so. And so, yes, the Steelers' inability to stop the Buffalo running game contributed maybe the most to the end result Sunday night at Heinz Field.
All right, statement number 2.
He was done, and you hit the bell anyway.
Yeah, because I'm going to statement number 2.
Well, you said we're going to statement number 2. How many indicators do we need?
Because you're all still talking.
Ho, 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 boys and girls. The elf on the shelf has taken all of this down, all of this negativity here.
All right, statement number 2. Le'Veon will outrush the Steelers by himself. Labs, you're first.
I'm going to disagree with this. I know we just spent the last 5 minutes almost trashing the Steelers' run defense, but I think that the fact that it's Le'Veon Bell and the history that obviously he has with this organization and with a lot of the people in the locker room still, plus the fact that the Jets aren't really very good at running the ball. Their offensive line isn't close to what Le'Veon enjoyed here. And just, looking this up here real quick, Le'Veon's only averaging 3.3 yards a carry. He has yet to have a 100-yard game. His longest run from scrimmage is only 19 yards. And so I'm not here to praise the Steelers' run defense as much as I am to say that the Jets' run game is not very good and Le'Veon isn't the player he was when he was here.
All right, Mike, I didn't ring the bell. Go ahead.
He didn't use up too much time.
Well, I was going to ring the bell to transition to the next person.
It was a good 2-minute drill by him.
All right, your time is ticking. Let's go.
I hate when mom and dad fight.
I think Le'Veon Bell is going to outrush the Steelers by himself. I don't think there's going to be very many rushing yards in this game coming up in the swamps of Jersey on Sunday. He's coming off his best game of the year with the Jets. I think it was 87 yards against the Ravens. There's a clear disconnect between Le'Veon Bell and the team he plays for now in terms of how much he's featured and how effective he's been. They almost ignore him in the passing game. He will get his touches running, and I think Le'Veon Bell will have a little something extra for the Steelers just based on his association with them. Not that the departure was all that disharmonious, but he's still playing against his former team. He's going to want to show them something. But the significant factor here is the Jets have a very good run defense. I think they're number 2 overall in that, and they're number 1 in yards per carry against. Steelers aren't going to run for very many yards on Sunday.
I couldn't even do it with a straight
If
face.
I don't win this one, after
Well, I was
all
gonna
the
say,
bickering,
no,
I'll never
let me
win
go.
one.
Because Labs is wearing a holiday sweater and the rest of us aren't. Labs is the winner of this edition of
Here's your
Agree
bell,
to
you won.
Disagree. We'll see you guys next time. All right, we are getting closer and closer to that game against the 5-9 New York Jets. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Steelers Live. It is Friday, so of course we're going to start with the Steelers status report as they prepare to head to MetLife Stadium. And no, this is not a mistake on our producer Gerard's end. Welcome back to Steelers Weekly, everyone. Let's get back to some of the best content this week from Steelers.com.
We got to take care of our business. We don't need to look around. We don't need a scoreboard watch. We take care of our business, get this win, and then focus on the team after that. But the next team after that. But from here on out, we just got to win games.
All right, we are getting closer and closer to that game against the 5-9 New York Jets. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Steelers Live. It is Friday, so of course we're going to start with the Steelers status report as they prepare to head to MetLife Stadium. And no, this is not a mistake on our producer Gerard's end. This is real. The Steelers status report, a clean bill of health. There are no players listed on here with any designations. So that is some good news. I'm sure you're wondering about Vance McDonald, who has been in the concussion protocol, who missed last game. He was out there and a full participant all week long, and the Steelers just announced this afternoon that he has cleared the concussion protocol and expected to play on Sunday against the Jets. Another name you're probably wondering about, wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster, dealing with that knee injury, wasn't able to go against the Bills, even though we saw him start to come back to practice last week. But a great week of practice this week, a full participant the entire time, no setbacks. Here's more from JuJu Smith-Schuster in the locker room on Friday.
It feels great. It's been a while. I feel like I'm my usual self. Being out there, being around football means a lot. Just for myself, because when I'm not around football, I tend to lose my mind. But when I'm out there with the boys, running routes, catching balls, it feels great.
All right, in case you have not heard, Le'Veon Bell is now a New York Jet. A lot of talk about him this week facing his former team. In talking to the Steelers this week, most guys have said it's not a big deal. It is a brotherhood. They have moved on from how things went down here in Pittsburgh. Here's more from Steelers defensive captain Cam Heyward.
I just want to hit Le'Veon. I haven't hit Le'Veon all since he's been in the league. Every time, man, we couldn't bring him down. No, I'm just kidding. But, I think honestly, you just, you move on from it. You understand that we got bigger fish to fry, and they're standing in our way. We got to take care of business. If we focus in on one person, the other 10 will beat you. So we're going up there to beat the New York Jets, not the Le'Veon Bells.
All right, in case you missed it, there were 5 Steelers selected to the Pro Bowl this week. Dave DeCastro making his 5th Pro Bowl selection in a row. That is the 16th player in Steelers team history, 4th offensive lineman to do so for the Steelers. In case you missed my one-on-one, here's a portion of it with Dave DeCastro.
It happens all so fast. Everyone talks about football going by fast. And when you're young, you can't really see it. But when you get to that point where you're kind of a veteran guy in the locker room, you just kind of like look around, you're like, there's not many guys older than me, that played this long. But at the end of the day, I think everyone kind of fills their roles independently. Everyone has a different style of how they lead. Some are more outspoken, some are louder, some lead by action, and just being out there is enough in their presence and their play. So I think there's different roles, and not one's better than the other, and everyone's just different.
What do you feel like yours is then?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really talk too much. I don't really say too much. I just kind of like being out there and giving
Actions.
good actions more than words.
All right, and a roster move by the Steelers on Friday. They have waived safety Cam Kelly and promoted Marcus Allen to their 53-man roster. Tomorrow, of course, is Saturday, and that means a brand new edition of the Mike Tomlin Show. Here is a preview.
I think the issue is Greg Williams and the Greg Williams defense and what he's capable of doing to young QBs. They've been on a run of late. That run really has been sparked by their ability to get after young quarterbacks. Specifically, they played the New York Giants, they played the Washington Redskins. They brought Jamal Adams a bunch in those games, and really it was a catalyst for a bunch of splash plays and allowed them to control those games.
And again, you can catch the Mike Tomlin Show Saturday night at 11:35 following the late news on KDKA, and we'll also post it on the Steelers official YouTube page as well. That's it from here at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday with a Steelers Roundtable. So now we have to switch things up. So you get key number one.
Well, I love your sweater with the
Stockings.
and the candles.
Because we're bringing gifts today, man. And we're bringing the gift of victory. And that's what I bring when I talk first.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hi everybody, the Steelers are getting ready to face the New York Jets. It is time for our keys to the game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. And unfortunately, Arthur, you get to go first this week. I'm only saying that because the Steelers lost, so now we have to switch things up. So you get key number one.
Well, I love your sweater with the
Stockings.
and the candles.
Because we're bringing gifts today, man. And we're bringing the gift of victory. And that's what I bring when I talk first.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
All right, give us that key then.
So my key, it's a simple one. You have to make that Jets offense one-dimensional. And in particular, you have to minimize Le'Veon Bell's impact.
Right.
The games that he's been successful, both as a runner and as a receiver, that offense has been a lot more productive.
Right.
Now, when you make Sam Darnold have to beat you throwing the ball, when you minimize that attack of being able to run and throw the ball and make them just have to rely on the pass, they're not nearly as effective as you've seen them in the past. And that's the thing that I like the most about this matchup.
Well, Arthur, and you know their offensive line is not very good.
Absolutely,
the only
man.
guy that's good is Kelvin Beachum.
Former Steelers.
And their inside guys are better on traps or in space, but they're not good at coming off the ball. So Cam and Javon and Tyson, oh gosh, I mean they're going to they're going to surround Lev, and they're going to gang tackle.
I love that idea. And trust me, we will all love that. And then obviously next week I'll be going first again if that happens, which it will.
All right, Punch, your key for Jets week.
Okay, my key is to win on first down. That means gain at least 4 yards, whether you're running the ball, whether it's the quick pass, whether it's the screen pass, whether it's the flat pass, or the check down. Make quick decisions if you're Devlin Hodges, because you know Greg Williams.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah, I mean, so he changes up the fronts and the coverages almost every play.
Absolutely.
You know, they're going to run that wide 9, they're going to run the 33 double eagle, they're going to run the bear, because he was mentored by Buddy Ryan.
Absolutely.
And
that's what he did.
and you know what, that's right, you guys did, you played for him, right?
Well, I played for same lineage though.
Yeah,
but
same
I had
lineage,
Patton, who came from Rex Ryan, and obviously Rex is a descendant of. But
Right, yeah. And so when and he's going to bring those linebackers up in the A gap, and he likes to blitz, and he's going to bring the house. If you are behind the chains on first and second down, it's going to be Katie by the door.
Absolutely.
And so win on first down. and you avoid that. And I hope we do that.
Yes, and you definitely hit on something, man. When you're talking about winning on first down, as a defense, it's easy to call when it's 2nd and 9, 2nd and 7. When it's 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, now you have to get a little more reserved. You can't do some of those exotic looks that Greg likes to do. And those are the things that definitely benefits this team.
You know, and for a young quarterback, the way Greg Williams changes the coverage,
It can confuse you.
It can be confusing.
Pre-snap to post-snap, he does a lot of that.
Right.
All right, I'm going along with your key. Don't kill us. Take care of the ball. It is something simple Coach Tomlin said originally when Devlin Hodges took over as starter for Mason Rudolph. But he needs to rebound, and he talked about it in the locker room this week. He remembers his last bad game at Samford, threw 4 interceptions against Florida State. The next week, 1 interception, 3 touchdowns. He has to do that this week, and the Steelers have to balance out their offense. I think with James Conner being healthy, the division of labor, as Coach Tomlin talked about at practice, everybody's going to be on the same page, know the availability of the guys. So I think it is crucial that they take care of the ball because of Greg Williams and all the points you made about that defense.
Right, quick throws and quick decisions.
Absolutely, and one benefit too, that Jets defense hasn't generated a ton of turnovers.
Right.
So that definitely bodes well for the Steelers offense.
And the safety's leading them in sacks. No, it's the second in sacks.
Yeah. But then he's up and down with his injuries too,
Jenkins
man.
has got 7 sacks.
Yeah.
All right, those are our keys to the game. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on this edition of Steelers Weekly. We'll see you next time.